Hi, my name is Lauren Palmer. I represent a group today called Utah for Responsible Growth. We wanted to bring you a quick presentation today about Olympia Hills development and what is coming down the pipeline for us. First of all, what is Utah for Responsible Growth? We are a coalition of citizens. We're not just in the southwest part of the valley, as many believe. We are a group of citizens, really some groups from all over the state. We've got groups in Provo, we've got groups in Cottonwood Heights, Davis County, Weber County, Tooele County. We've banded together because we all feel like there's some irresponsible growth going on within the state of Utah. Our vision is to educate citizens, to help them understand what is responsible growth, how we need balance moving forward for the state, for the counties that we live in. And I think it's important here that we emphasize that as a group, we are not against HDH. A lot of people are against high-density housing. We are not against high-density housing. We are for responsible growth. We are for balance. If you look at the need right now for truly affordable housing, there needs to be a balance. Those that are living in multi-family housing currently, some of them want to move to a single-family home. And the inventory is not there right now, and that is increasing the prices of multifamily housing, which is really making it less affordable for people even to move in to high-density housing. So really, we are out about trying to create affordable housing through balance in our communities. Again, we are not NIMBYs either. The saying says, not in my backyard. We are not NIMBYs. In this case, with Olympia Hills, we recognize that Olympia Hills will be developed. There will be development continue throughout the county, throughout the state, as more people come here and as our children have children and grandchildren moving forward, there will be growth. But we just feel like it needs to be planned out properly and with the appropriate balance. So what is Olympia Hills? That'll be the focus of our topic today. Olympia Hills is a proposed development west of Harriman. It sits on about 930 acres. Its initial proposal to the county called for over 8,100 units, even talk of 8,700 to 9,000 units, but at least a density of 9 units per acre. Out of that, as of right now, 120 acres have been sold to the Jordan School District. 100 is sold and 20 were donated. Another 100 has been donated to Utah State University. Right now, it currently sits in unincorporated Salt Lake County. This is not in Harriman City. It's not in South Jordan City. It does sit in unincorporated Salt Lake County. So as proposed, with the acreage taken out for schools that have already been committed and sold, we are down below 700 acres as it sits. So as they're still proposing, last we have seen, they're still proposing that 8,100 units on 700 acres. Just the density, really, as you start taking out for roads, parks, anything in there, we're looking at a density well over 15 true units per acre, which is it's just outrageous. The density of Daybreak, which they keep comparing themselves to, sits around 5 units per acre. So this is no way is similar to Daybreak, which really is a very good community for this end of the valley. So why is Olympia Hills at this point running their proposal to Salt Lake County rather than through Harriman City or say South Jordan City? The developer himself has said he is going to Salt Lake County because it is more referendum proof. There have been some recent changes in legislation. A referendum does require 35% signatures gathered from everybody in the jurisdiction. In this case, it would be Salt Lake County rather than, say, Harriman, which has current population sitting around 50 to 60,000. It would be a task to go gather 85 to 100,000 signatures for a referendum, but in no way as a group do we believe this is referendum proof either. But that is the reason he considers this, is considering going through Salt Lake County. Salt Lake County Council they're doing what they feel like they need to do. They are trying to solve what is being sold as a housing crisis. Again, there is a housing shortage currently that could be argued, but again, it's not just the shortage of high-density housing. There is a housing shortage across the market of all housing types, and the only way we're going to solve this housing crisis is by building housing types of multiple forms. Harriman has basically told the developer they're not open to this kind of density. the developer has approached South Jordan City. They're not on the record saying yay or nay on that, but they are part of all of the mayors in this group are part of what they call the Southwest Mayors Coalition that is fighting for planning and a cohesive plan that will work in this area, one that will fit the existing infrastructure, one that will not affect too much the quality of life of current residents or future residents of this development. It could be also used as, from the developer standpoint, it could be used as leverage. If he goes to the county and can get this high amount of density, he can come back to Harriman City or South Jordan City and say, I was approved for this higher density, this amount. I'll come down to this amount if you'll annex me into your city. And that's his leverage to get higher units than what South Jordan or Harriman might be okay with at this point. Other factors playing in right now are Rio Tinto, as they are a large landowner in the area. Utah State University, as we've talked, who is planning a satellite type campus there, and the Jordan School District. And we can talk more about those in future discussions. This is a map right here showing where Olympia Hills sits. As you can see, it is very far away from any sort of major highway. The transit is not shown on here, but it sits very far away from any current transit, mass transit. I am a resident of Harriman City, and in Harriman City we do not even have any bus routes currently that connect you to a track station or anything. So to say that mass transit will be a focus out in this area, it's just not a reality at this point. There is Highway 111 that will border and come into this development, and there are plans to widen and readjust Highway 111 in the future, but that only goes as far as South Jordan. That does not go up into the Magna, up into the West Valley area where the traffic eventually will flow into that area, and this funding does not account for any future development down that road. So as you can see, we believe that development should sit close, mass development like this should sit close to tracks line, to mass transit, to major interstates. This is not smart planning to put it out in this area where there is no infrastructure to be had currently. This is the last depiction that we have of Olympia Hills. As you can see, on the north of this is about 123rd, 126th south in Harriman, all the way down to the south sits about 134th south, starting at about 6,000 west in some areas over to as far away as Highway 111 where it currently sits up against Rio Tinto. These drawings, you can go see a map of these and what these drawings depict, the different colors, the densities they depict in there. But this is currently the drawing and where this is located, just so you have a frame of reference. We show you this slide right now because this is critical right now. The purple area, below the purple area is about where Olympia Hills is. If you see to the north of this is still unincorporated Salt Lake County that is owned currently by Rio Tinto. The developer at this point is considering trying to do a land swap or trying to find a way for South Jordan to buy that land or take over that land from Rio Tinto so that he then has a connection from Olympia Hills to South Jordan. The reason this is critical is Salt Lake County does not collect impact fees if a development is considered in their unincorporated area. Impact fees are not collected, so the developer is responsible to pay for roads, sewer, water, everything for his development. The developer would need to bring water from the Jordan Valley Conservancy District all the way out to his development. He would have to put in the roads. We estimate as a group he could be looking at $100 million in expenses just for the infrastructure. If he were to annex into a city, those expenses go away because the cities then do collect impact fees which help pay for these improvements. The concern currently with him going to the county is if this is developed in the county without impact fees and Salt Lake County provides that funding, there's a study recently done that shows that anything over 2.8 or 3 units per acre in this area will overwhelm the roads in Harriman City, which is the most adjacent city, causing an extreme cost to the city without any way to recuperate that because none of the building will take place in that area. So it will be really an unfair thing to place on the local cities if they cannot collect the impact fees for that. But it also does, again, benefit the developer if he can annex into a city to be able to hook onto their water, hook into their roads. So again, this could be where he is playing the trying to use the county to play off the cities to try to get a higher density. So the goals of our group of Utah for Responsible Growth pertaining to Olympia Hills, we want to continue the cities in this area to work together. As they have going with the Southwest Mayors Coalition, we expect that to continue. We hope that they can come up with some good solutions in the study, a study that has been partially funded by Salt Lake County, to find out what kind of planning and what kind of density can happen in this area. We encourage Salt Lake County to stay out of the development game. We just believe that this is such a critical area and needs to be taken care of locally by the cities in this area that can work together to find a good balance, to find really something that fits well in this community. Again, we know it will be developed. It's not saying to not allow it to be developed, but find a city that they can work with, that this can be figured into plans for the future. So as we've said, this Olympia Hills will happen. So we encourage infrastructure to be in place first. We encourage a mix of housing options. We would highly recommend programmable open space, not just open space for the sake of open space to say that the developer has achieved his minimum amount of open space, but really programmable open space that achieves a purpose, whether it be for sports fields, whether it be for hiking trails, biking trails, whatever it may be, but truly programmable open space. And then a realistic vision of what this area can become. It's been mentioned that this could become Silicon Slopes 2.0, bring some high-tech companies out here. We all know these companies like to be along major corridors. They want to be close to airports. They want to be close to mass transit. This development does none of those. These pie-in-the-sky visions of a high-tech company coming to the southwest quadrant this far away from everything is just, it's not realistic. So we are just looking for realistic expectations of what can happen in this area. And finally, how do we accomplish this? As a group, we would invite you, first of all, we have social media, like and follow our Facebook pages. We have Twitter. You can find that on Twitter as well under Utah for Responsible Growth. And then get involved with us. Help us educate other citizens, other residents. Help us educate the city councils in the area that might not understand the impact that this will have on their cities. This is everybody along the West Bench. Anybody that could be affected by traffic trying to get to I-215, trying to get to Redwood Road, I-15, even Mountain View Corridor. We have committees we're working on. We have outreach committee. We have a civic engagement committee, a media committee, a research committee, and a fundraising committee to help us, all of this to help us get the word out and really help educate the general populace as to what our goal is here. Again, I appreciate you listening in today. Please feel free to check in our website and our Facebook group for any further information on anything you can do to help us out in the future. And we thank you for your time today.